Alright, it is time again to enter the Gold Conquest. This time we're going to be utilizing an Electro Ramp deck. Electro Ramp is one of those decks that has been good for a while. It's just kind of boring for most players, for most playstyles, because it's not an active playstyle. It's not like Bounce where you're just continually doing things and multiple card plays every single turn. You are just restricting and reacting to what your opponent can do. But before we jump over into any games, I'd like to introduce today's video sponsor. Being able to be successful in today's culture means being able to problem solve and think critically to solve whatever issues may come up. Not only do these skills help you with your career, but they also help you with many other aspects from day-to-day life, like household problems, Marvel stat meta-analysis, and so on. You know, the important things. That's why I find that I keep coming back to Brilliant. Brilliant.org is the best way to learn math and computer science interactively. Brilliant has thousands of lessons from foundation and advanced math to logic, data analysis, and scientific thinking. I've recently been working on the knowledge and uncertainty courses to help enhance my logic and deduction skills. This helps me with content creation, my day job, and any other day-to-day problems that may come up. To try everything that Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/TLSG or click on the link in the description. First 200 people will get 20% off of Brilliant's annual premium subscription. And so let's go ahead and jump on into the first match against TorTheWise, which is using a bot-like avatar, and the name is kind of bot-like. Let's give him the hello and the fist bump test. They fist bump back, but we'll see. We're gonna go ahead and jump in. They gave us a thumbs up as well, just to let us know that they're not a bot. The Second Dinner has said that there's no bots after the first time you enter each tier, and I have definitely entered this tier more times than just the one. For whatever reason, sometimes it feels like it. Maybe it's just that it's a wider matchmaking rating than like you on the ladder. I don't know, but we'll see. So the first thing that they play is Hood. They go with a Carnage as well, so they're running some kind of destruction deck. Not the Thanos destruction, just a regular destruction. Now we know if they're running Galactus, this becomes really difficult. Because they can only fight for these two locations with the Galactus. They can't do goblins, they can't do destruction directly into deep space. I think we're going to do Electro. We can then do Black Panther into Arnim Zola on 4-5. I don't know if that's enough. It does, I mean, it only puts a small amount of power in deep space, which is my concern. But I also think we do need to continue fighting for Kiln, and we need a space open for the Black Panther to potentially go there. So they have the Carnage, they have Sabretooth. I assume that a Venom comes down here, I would imagine. We don't know what they're running, but I do think we're going to snap back. They could have a Shang-Chi, which could hurt our Black Panther. We should be able to get some additional card draw off of this Black Panther play, and so we'll put the Black Panther outside of Shang-Chi range. We're going to have the lead going into this turn. They do get the Sabretooth that's going to be free, which is going to be big at helping enable their death, helping buff up their Null. But Null here is not going to be great. We get Arrow on the last turn, so if we could do Sandman. Depending on what they play this turn, Sandman into a Doctor Doom is pretty solid. That's going to give us 5 here, plus we scale 2 times with the Nebula, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll put us in the lead in Kiln. Let's go with the Sandman play. Our Black Panther is safe from Shang-Chi. Ooh, they flood a lot of cards here. Okay, the Bucky Barnes, and then the Sabretooth, and then the Demon in mid is kind of wild. Okay, so they can only play 1 card. If I'm their card, where do I go? We can't do Arrow into mid. I think Doctor Doom is really realistically our only potential play here. So it's going to put 5 here. We have to keep Jeff into this lane. It doesn't win the Demon for us. It doesn't win the Demon lane. What if we did this? It seems silly, but what if we hit our Black Panther with Arnim Zola? That's going to put 16 here. We win Kiln. It puts 8 here. We win Deep Space, or I guess it would depend on where they play for, right? And this is for 8 in gold. Is this a risk we're willing to take here? I feel like I think we could potentially lose right here on the first round, but we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to do the Arnim Zola. They do play for Asgard, so if we get our Sandman, we can win Deep Space. If we get... Oh, gosh. I feel bad about that one. Like, I don't, that was just lucky. It comes down to luck. Had it hit Sandman, this would have only been 10, so their Venom would have been more power than what we could have handled. That's not I'm not even proud. I'm not even proud of that one. I assume that they probably have a Killmonger in their deck. We saw a good amount. This looks like just like an honest destroy deck, maybe. We do have Wave to try to disrupt them on that last turn. We'll see. They have Squirrel Girl. I assume they have Killmonger that'll come down soon. And we are 8 cubes into this first match, which is a nice change of pace compared to what we normally do on these. So we have the Jeff. Shuri's Lab is massive for us. If we get a Black Panther, playing it there, it's going to double the power. We could hit it with an Arnim Zola. We could hit it with an Odin and just have an absurd amount of power in Shuri's Lab. We get the double power Jeff. So now it is a very easily movable Captain Marvel that we can manually move around the board. We could do Wave here. We could do Wave into Leader, into something, into Odin. Or we could do Electro into whatever we draw next turn. Let's do that. We're going to do the Electro. Shuri's Lab is pretty good for them doing like Venom, for them doing like Carnage. They did snap, but I think if we're gonna stage a comeback at any point, it's probably here. We could limit how many cards they could play with like our Wave, which we drew our Arnim Zola, so that's not fantastic, of course. We could limit how many cards they do each turn. Wave into Odin puts a lot of power in this lane, and then we could always lean in on like a leader on the last turn. We can do Wave, we can do Odin to ramp up. We'll eventually move our Jeff. I think that's the line we want to go with. Wave, Odin, Arnim Zola. We could also do Wave into Arnim Zola into Odin, but since this is coming down on 4 and not 3, I like this line a little bit better. It's going to constrict them to only doing 1 card per turn, and hopefully in the process give us a pretty good advantage. They do clear up their left lane. They have the free Sabretooth that's not going to be able to be free from here on out. They have the big power in their demon play in mid. A Killmonger now, I'm not as worried about in the Nebula lane, so we're actually okay with the way that this is looking. Let's go Odin. We'll re-trigger Wave. We'll move Jeff out into one of these lanes. We don't know. It depends on where they play this turn. We'll move Jeff out, and then I think we should have a pretty significant advantage. A Venom? I guess a Venom and then a Killmonger, but that is going to be their only... It's going to be their last 2 plays that they can go with. No, the Death into mid. Death into mid is big. So now they don't need the demon, right? No, they do still need the demon. If they do a Killmonger, it kills our Nebula, but that's okay. We're going to do Leader here. Moving Jeff over will put us at 7. This is 8, 9, 10. So we grab the lead in Xandar. We grab the lead in Miniaturized Lab. Right now they have the lead in Shuri's Lab, but as long as we can maintain what we have right now, perfectly fine. I guess if they do Venom, since we don't have initiative, we get the advantage here as well. So this should be, I think, clear cut. I think this should be clean. The Killmonger does come down, but luckily, like I said, they don't need the Killmonger here. We do copy it, so we're going to maintain our lead in Xandar. We maintain the lead in Shuri's Lab, even though Miniaturized Lab is now a tie. We were able to hold down the win against the Destroy deck, which, if we were not able to manage how many cards they could play, could have gotten out of hand very, very quickly. Things like Shuri's Lab with Venom, things like Shuri's Lab with Carnage, can be so devastating to a deck, especially with the free Sabretooth that they had in their hand, being able to utilize and leverage turn after turn. We were able to hold down the last game. We got lucky on the first one. The second game, we was calculated and precise. Let's go ahead and take the first round victory against TorTheWise, and we're going to jump over directly into our round 2 opponent. All right, so jumping straight in with the same deck, we're going to be running this one throughout the entire run here. Doom Wave is one of those that it can be outshadowed by things that typically only want to play 1 card per turn. So sometimes like a discard deck, sometimes something like a high evolutionary, maybe Lockjaw. But there are also times where we can position our cards in a way that we can efficiently counter those. All right, so we had a little bit of a wait, but next up we have Monkey Astronaut. First location being Murder World. Not terrible for our Electro. Typically, we're not going to want to or need to play more than 1 card per turn. Even with extra energy, we don't really ever have a scenario where we have multiple cards. And if we do, it's going to be like a Nebula or a Jeff, and Jeff we can fit in anyways. So they play a Korg. They're probably playing like a Hawk deck, I would imagine. With the Korg, I don't think we're going to see Killmonger. There's a few decks that will run it, but I think we're okay here with our Nebula being able to scale. Ooh, Dark Dimension is kind of wild. Do we want to destroy the Electro or not? I don't think we need to. And I feel like the 2 power at some point may be what allows us to win. I don't know. We're going to go Electro. We can always do like a Black Panther that keeps us under that Shang-Chi range for now, and then we can maybe hit it with an Arnim Zola and Odin, something similar. I am going to destroy the Electro. I don't know. I feel like we need to. If we can destroy an Electro, I feel like we have to. Even though we don't get benefit from it otherwise. Ooh, Korg and Green Goblin is interesting in tandem. I don't think they're going to be running Galactus, although he is pretty popular right now. Let's go Black Panther in the left lane. We're going to keep Initiative because of our Nebula in Dark Dimension. They're not going to be able to play additional cards there and have them revealed to come over the top of it. So we should be able to keep Initiative. Ooh, no, Agent. Wait. I am so confused by your deck, my good sir. So confused. Now, I'm worried about a Shang-Chi. If we knew for sure that they did not have one, Arnim Zola into using Odin on the Arnim Zola would be fantastic. That would send the Goblin back here. That would do a massive amount of power here. We don't know enough about the deck, though. And so that, to me, comes almost like a liability. We can do Odin into like an Arnim Zola on the Odin to go here and here on the last turn and kind of surprise them with that board presence we have. Potentially, that's not going to be as much power as the Black Panther, but I feel like we need to be cautious here. We don't know what kind of deck they're running or what else it entails. I feel like in Conquest, you're very likely to... Okay, so it's the like stature deck. I feel like in Conquest, you're very likely to see those counterplays or those counter tools. And so I want to play it cautiously, at least for now, until we know what we're going up against. So let's go ahead and use the Arnim Zola. That's going to send 8 power here, 8 power here. We will lose the Hellfire Club as long as they play anything there. But I think we're going to make them pay for it. If they want to see this one come all the way through, we're going to make them pay for it. If this is a stature deck, which the Green Goblin is new to me in the stature deck. If this is the stature deck, I expect a Hawk, a stature, maybe Rock Slide. Maybe they've already hidden one of those in the Dark Dimension, and it could become tough to win. But I think it's worth at least forcing their hand a little bit and making them fully commit to saying, hey, I am confident in what I have. And so we get the 1 cube. Let's go ahead and take the 1 cube match with the 1 cube wager. They know a little bit about our deck, but not the full amount. And so we will go ahead and jump into round 2. And we know that we're going to be able to do the Sandman this game, which is going to be big for us against Black Bolt, and then them wanting to flood a lot of stuff on that last turn. So they have a Korg starting out again. I feel like when I run Korg in my decks, I never start with it in my opening hand. Oh, and then Weird World is weird. We're going to get some really good information about the opponent's deck here. Electro Ramp into Devil Dino into Arnim Zola. A pretty interesting one. We won't have a huge hand, though. I don't know. We're going to play Jeff by allowing us to stay in a Weird World game. Yes, we're getting information on the opponent's deck, but they're also getting information on ours. So the Shang-Chi is part of their deck. And so is it worth it to stay here? And I think that really depends on if you feel like your deck has that surprising play or those surprising elements to it. So for right now, we're going to do Electro. I don't think they're going to have multiple plays. So I don't think we're going to go with Sandman for this match. They have the Nebula, but since our deck typically does not curve those cards drastically or dramatically, I think we're okay here. We now get armor, so we know that they have that as a protection tool. Let's go ahead and make them pay an extra cube if they want to continue getting additional information about her deck. And so I think we're in an okay spot here. An arrow. Ooh. Arrow on 5 could be kind of scary. That's okay. It would just pull the Arnim Zola, though, right? So they get Rock Slide, so they have that. We knew that they had it in their deck after seeing the Korg. I imagine there's... Ooh, we get Black Bolt, which is kind of cool. If we had Black Bolt last turn, we could have Black Bolted into doing an Arnim Zola, which would have been wild. All right, let's go Arnim Zola onto the Devil Dino. We know that they don't have their Shang-Chi. We don't have one in our deck, so we don't have to worry about the high roll of them being able to counter this Devil Dino. I don't imagine that they have the Enchantress counter because that would directly hurt their Devil Dino play. I am a little bit surprised that we're not seeing a little bit more cards that generate additional cards. So like Agent 13. I'm a little bit surprised at that. There's the Agent Coulson. Okay, so that makes sense. 7 energy here. I don't think they ever overpower us in the left lane. They could in the right lane. I mean, our biggest play is going to be Chavez, which we know that they have. 9 power here. Brings them up to 15. This will bring us over that 15, especially with the Agent Coulson reloading our hand. I think we're okay here. If they do an arrow, it will destroy what we play. But we're going to maintain the lead here and here. Go ahead and lock it in. Let's see if they stay for the 4 cubes. They do. The Enchantress is wild. No way. You have an Enchantress built in? That's so wild. And the last card that we haven't seen, I assume, is Hawk. Super strange to run 2 really solid ongoings, 3 with the armor, and also Enchantress. Well, they stole us for the 4 with that play. I didn't think they were going to hit it, but they did. They absolutely did. All right, so Titan's pretty good for us. It's not great for them. They don't have any 6-cost cards in their deck. We, however, have a lot. And so leader, Arnim Zola. We could do a weird play with like leader into Arnim Zola into an Odin, potentially. So we know just about their entire deck. I'm sure that they know just about our entire deck now as well. They also have Korg early on. I guess it's not turn 1 because they didn't play it on turn 1. They played it on turn 2. That's a little bit more understandable. Go ahead and play our Jeff into Shuri's lab. Doing Black Panther. If this middle location turns into Shuri's lab, great. If it turns into Titan, I think that's okay as well. Okay, so the armor in the left lane is okay. We could stack eventually our Black Panther over there. Titan or the other one is fine here. I mean, Dr. Doom. We could do leader this turn, but I don't think they're going to do anything massive. We can do Dr. Doom. The good thing for us is that this right lane, so the Shuri's lab lane, is not huge for their deck. The most that they're going to double down on is like a Rock Slide, a Black Bolt, nothing huge. The rest of it is elevated by their ongoing abilities. So Dr. Doom is big for us. Going into turn 4, if we can draw our Odin, that's also good. They do play their Hawk in the left lane, so we know that they're not going to target that lane with the Enchantress. This is also safe from Shang-Chi. I think this is actually an okay line for us. Oddly enough. They do have a Shang-Chi, but if we have Black Panther, they could hit us with Shang-Chi before it happens, before it triggers. Let's go Black Panther here, see what they do. They do push to have initiative in Titan, unfortunately. So both our Dr. Doom and our Black Panther are susceptible here. Only a 1-cube wager, so we're gonna see if they have it. If they have Shang-Chi, then they can win this lane. We're gonna send Nebula here and here. I think we would lose that one. Ooh, wait, so they don't play for Shuri's lab. Okay, so we have some decent pulls here. We're gonna have to get Dr. Doom or Black Panther to be able to get this upside, and we get the Black Panther. So we're gonna be able to sweep all 3 locations here. Unfortunately, it is only for the 2 cubes. This one's gonna be I think, a back and forth. With them having counter cards teched in, that makes us have to play it a little bit more cautiously than we normally would. If we can ever set up a play where we have initiative, we get arrow down, we have an Odin to leverage on top of it, then we can really restrict what they can do, especially if we get like a Sandman onto the board as well. And so we do have Jeff, we have Electro in our opening hand, we have our arrow. This may be the game that we were asking for. Let's get a feel for, wow, what they're going to have in this left lane. Ooh, Subterranea is massive. If they snap here, we retreat. Subterranea, with them having the potential for a Hawk, I think is too great. Unless we have it like a direct way to deal with it. So we will be able to pull their last card out of the vault. So this was their last turn to play there. Green Goblin comes down, which is still an odd deck for me. I don't understand it. Let's go Arrow to the right. We can then do Black Panther on 5, Arnim Zola on 6. Is what our tentative line is, depending on what else we draw. So they go Rock Slide. Okay. Rock Slide's not terrible. Oh, wait. They have one additional turn to play there. Oof. Oof. How rough. Oh, no. Well, we could do an Arrow. Arrow would pull their card here. Or we could do an Arnim Zola onto the Arrow. It would put an Arrow here, and then an Arrow into Subterranea. Not terrible, but I do like the flexibility of having our Black Panther instead. Let's go with that. I think they... Ooh, I thought they would have played for the Vault, but they did not. We lose our Rock. Perfectly fine. They're not going to be able to play directly for the Vault. We know that they don't have something to go wide. They don't have the Doctor Doom. They don't have anything like that. And so with Black Bolt, they could do Devil Dino and Stature. So Devil Dino, they have a pretty big hand. It's not going to be huge. We have a really big hand, so... Oh, no. Well, let's go with the Arnim Zola and hope. Hope that they don't stack into Monster Metropolis. If we do Arrow, it does pull here, which is great. But then they just win Monster Metropolis as a result as well. Playing heads up, they could do a Shang-Chi directly into Monster Metropolis, anticipating that we do the Arnim Zola. But I think this is the path we need to take. So it all comes down to the mind games. Did they have it? They did. The Arnim Zola onto the Arrow. Oh, wait. I thought we lost that one. By positioning our Black Panther over there, it then became the highest power card. So our Arrow was no longer above Shang-Chi range. And we were able to hold down the 2 cubes. We are slowly chipping away at Monkey Astronaut. This is round 5. It's now double stakes. We have Jeff, Electro. If we can get a solid 5-cost card, ooh, and the Lechugia is tough. But if we can get a solid 5-cost card to use alongside our Electro, then we're gonna snap here. There's the Korg on turn 1. Oh, for not having Chavez, them getting it that often. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but them getting it that often is phenomenal. Let's play our Jeff into the far right lane. We know that they don't have any way to like offset the Nebula unless it gets a little bit too big. And so we're going to play the Jeff. We can move it over into the big house. We do get Black Panther, which is the good 5-cost card we were asking for. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do much with Sandman this game, but we don't have to lean on Sandman too terribly much in this matchup because a lot of times they're not flooding a lot of their cards. Green Goblin. Okay, so the Green Goblin makes sense. It is, I mean, is it just there to... Oh, no. That is rough. Honestly, I think they should snap back here. Because now we have to play into the Lechugia, which is going to muddy our deck to play any of our cards. We have to play into the Lechugia or the Big House, and to play into the Big House, that's going to be our only play for that turn, so we can't directly fight for Morag, unfortunately. If we can get something like an Odin, next turn we're going to go Dr. Doom. That will allow us to go wide. We'll move Jeff probably into Morag. Dr. Doom will allow us to go wide. We could hit it with a... We could eventually hit it with an Odin. We could also go Leader on this next turn, which could potentially give us what we need. They got the mojo from their Agent 13. Ooh. Arnim Zola here is big. Never mind. No, it's not. We can't. We can't destroy this lane. So let's go Dr. Doom here. We're going to fill this lane back up. We have a little bit of push in Morag. If we top deck Odin, fantastic. We probably won't, so we're going to have to, I think, rely on our leader on the last turn. If they have a Hawk already in their hand before they played into the Lechugia, we're adding insult to injury now. They go Rock Slide, so even more upside. They do block us from playing into the Big House. So leader, I guess they didn't have their Hawk, maybe? I don't know. These locations were tough for us, but it looks like they were tough for them as well. We will take them just not getting fortunate with their draws when we can. I'm wondering if they were looking at like a handful of rocks. And so we will go ahead and take the 4 cubes. We are very, very close now. Every single match could be their final lifeline. They're going to have to win 2, 4, 6. They're going to have to win 3 in a row. Is that a little bit better? It cuts off our head, but it sees the power a little bit more. Actually, we need to center it now. can't do anything on turn 1, so we are just going to pass while we play with our elements. All right. That's a little better. You can see a little bit more. I need to adjust the circle, but that's close. We don't have our early game cards. Sanctum Sanctorum is fantastic for us, not great for them. And so this looks like it may be their lifeline because we have our Doctor Doom in hand. They have no way to go wide. We have several ways to do it. Let's go Electro here. We could go Wave into the Doctor Doom. That would allow them to do maybe their Black Bolt early. I don't know. They're going to send up some junk, but we don't mind. We have everything we need in our hand to find a way to win. And so with 5 energy here, I don't know that... Okay. No, that's not the play, right? Sandman's the play. Sandman has to be the play. I like the Jeff, but I think Sandman's going to be our route. And we're going to leave New York open. That way we can do a Doctor Doom into like an Arnim Zola and just completely fill up the board. They're going to have to go incredibly tall into 2 of the locations because they're not going to be able to fight for Sanctum Sanctorum here. And so let's go Doctor Doom now. This is for their lifeline, but I think they got unfortunate with these locations. They don't have a Cosmo. Oh, wow, the Agent Coulson gives them a Doc Ock, which does miss our Arnim Zola, unfortunately. It hits our wave, so they're only able to play 1 card on this last turn. We get our Nebula. The Doctor Doom comes down. Agent Coulson, what do we get from him? Jane Foster and Crossbones. Those are not terrible cards for us. We're winning here. We're winning here. They can only play 1 card because of the wave that came down. I think that's it. I think that is all that she wrote. I don't know what they could play that could potentially overcome it, but if they just play Shang-Chi, then we win New York. So we're gonna play our Chavez and take the 1 extra cube here, hopefully. Oh wait. Okay, the Hawk is fine. They moved the Rock Slide into New York. I forgot about that movement component since they did force us into having our hand capped out. That is gonna wrap up match number 2. In 6 rounds, we were able to best Monkey Astronaut, and now we are on to the final match of our Gold Conquest run. Let's see if we can take it. All right, so jumping straight in to battle number 3, we're gonna finish off this run with Doom Wave. Doom Wave? With Doom Wave. See if we're able to grab yet another elusive Infinity ticket. All right, so we do get KingGhidorah? KingGhidorah, I think, is how you pronounce it. If I mispronounce it, I apologize. For our final Gold Conquest. We don't know what they're running. So this is basically just going to be a ladder run, a ladder game right now. But Oscorp Tower with Electro is so devastating when you can clog up the opponent's board or hand and they're not needing to or not anticipating it. So maybe they're running bounce, and that is what we're going to be hoping for. So what do you play? Zabu. Okay. So could be another Hawk deck. Hawk has been picking up in popularity. I haven't had a huge amount of success with Hawk. I've had more success going with like the Devil Dino route rather than the clog component. Let's go Electro. We're going to send it over in Oscorp Tower, and we will be able to kind of mitigate what they can do and the reach that they're going to have. And so Cosmo. Okay, Cosmo and Monster Metropolis is big. But we also have really big cards there as well. So we're going to be able to do a Black Panther into an Arnim Zola potentially. We have our Black Panther. We know that they can only do 1 card per turn because of our Electro. We're going to go ahead and play Black Panther. We have the leader to lean in on. Ooh, so it's an ongoing deck. So they may do a Spectrum towards the end of the game. And so let's go Doctor Doom. I don't think Arnim Zola is going to be the line. Maybe Odin eventually. Odin into the Black Panther and Doctor Doom would be phenomenal. And then they do play armor. So they're going like a full ongoing deck, it looks like. So like the Spectrum, maybe they wanted a ramp component as well. So being able to play only 1 card per turn, a Spectrum wouldn't do great. Spectrum here would be their only card. It would go up to 5. It would go up to 10, but we have the leader that's going to copy it. I think we're going to steal 4 cubes off of this very first game. The Spectrum? Yeah, the Spectrum comes down. It buffs up their right lane, but our middle lane stays big enough. Our left lane stays big enough. And actually, after Nebula scales, we are able to match their power output in the Monster Metropolis lane. We take the 4 cubes early, Let's go ahead and jump over into match 2, see if we can keep up that good high pace, high cube initiative so that we can handle this matchup in just a handful of rounds instead of it going for 6 rounds when it gets really intense and you're going back and forth with each other. And so I'd like to seal it out while I can, because there are ways that we could end up losing this one. Okay, so Shuri's Lab is going to be great for our Jeff. We also have Wave, but I don't know that we do. I don't know that we use it, because I think with this version, I don't think they're going to be going with the Destroyer route. They could be going with maybe a Valkyrie route as that surprise element. The Valkyrie route as a surprise element would be pretty big. They could be going with like a Wong, Typhoid Mary. We're going to use Wave. That way we can do our Sandman on turn 4. We're going to do it into Kiln. That way it's locked away safe and sound. We have Black Panther that's going to immediately be a 16 power, and then the Arnim Zola is just going to, I think, elevate it beyond what they can do. If they do a Cosmo into Shuri's Lab, that makes it much more difficult for us to navigate, but if they don't draw it, if they don't have it, I guess an armor there as well could be very devastating. Okay, so the armor is now out of the picture. Armor goes down into Kiln. We're okay with that. That is safe and sound now over there. Let's go with the Sandman. We're going to lock them into 1 card per turn for the remainder of the game, making it hard for them to spread their ongoing abilities across the board. So let's go Sandman. We'll eventually move our Jeff out. Probably into Kiln, maybe into the big house, depending on where they play here. So they play for Shuri's Lab. Ooh, an Onslaught is massive. It's surprising, but massive. Let's go Black Panther. I'm not going to move our Jeff just yet. I want to save that as kind of like that surprise. They don't know about our Arnim Zola. They probably should, seeing the Black Panther and seeing this deck, but they don't know about it for sure. An Iron Man into that. Okay, so Claw is big. That's 12 extra power into Kiln, and right now they're probably thinking they have it locked in. They won't be able to do a Spectrum. They won't be able to do anything really big because the big house is going to lock them out of a lot of that reach. And so no Shang-Chi worries. This is going to be 32. It's going to be 32. A Cosmo could be played here. That's fine. That's fine. Let's lock in the Arnim Zola play. We're going to move Jeff over. The Dazzler is an interesting one, but it's not going to be enough for them to be able to pull home any of this. We'll steal the left. We'll steal the right. We'll steal the 4 cubes. And just like that, 2 rounds in, they are down to 2 bars of health. Let's go ahead and finish this gold run off. Maybe with a 3-match ender. We have Nebula starting out. We have Wave into Odin. So Nebula, Jeff, Wave, Odin, I think is probably going to be a pretty successful line for us. And I almost want to snap into this just so that they have to commit to this being their last round if they want to stick it out for past this first hand. And so we're going to make them pay to see any additional locations, any additional card draws. And since they're down, they have to, I think, choose wisely. And so if they don't have a good looking hand, it may be that they retreat out and jump into the next one. So Wakanda Embassy is not terrible for us. It's not terrible for them either, though. Let's go Jeff in Asgard. We'll go Wave in Asgard, Odin in Asgard. And then from there, that should lock them out of the remainder of the game. No, on the last turn, they'll be able to flood. But Nebula's no longer going to scale. That's unfortunate that she's not going to be able to scale in deep space because of the location. Now, if they play an ongoing card there, they can still buff it up later with their Spectrum. But I think maybe they go with something like a Claw or an Onslaught into Asgard. And we can't re-trigger the Wave now. They did play heads up with the Cosmo. Let's go Leader. Copy whatever big card they play into Asgard. I'm kind of hoping for Claw. Warpath is not what we wanted to see there, unfortunately. That does give them the extra card draw. So they're going to have some extra reach here. This becomes a little bit more tough pretty quickly. We have Black Panther, so all hope is not lost. We have Black Panther into either Odin to really lean in and elevate that middle location if they haven't played anything in deep space. Then we know that on the last turn, an Odin play is going to be enough to win it. Ooh, they couldn't go Destroyer. There's no way. Okay, they haven't locked in this location, so we should be okay there. They have Asgard, I think, comfortably locked in. I don't think they're going to play for deep space, but just in case. We're going to move our Jeff over. We're going to play Odin. That's going to re-trigger Leader. If they don't play multiple cards, then we'll copy whatever they play. We should have no problem winning at this middle location, and then therefore, I think, winning the game. Now, if they have, for some reason, have some kind of destroy mechanism, I'll be so scared. But the Onslaught is not going to be enough to cinch it for them. We do come down with a 3-game victory for the Infinite ticket. That was the last round, the last battle in our Gold Conquest run. We will now take it. We'll take yet another Infinity ticket. That is, I think on this account, I'm 3 for 3 in gold runs. On my other account, I tested a few different builds, and I did drop maybe 1 or 2, but that is our 3rd Infinity ticket. We are farming them. 3rd on this account, 2 on the other one. We've bought all the rewards for this week, and we are already stockpiled, ready to buy out next week as soon as it opens up. And so with that, we are going to go ahead and end the video here. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you're still enjoying these longer Conquest runs, because I'm enjoying the game mode, especially when the Infinity tier comes out. I think it's going to be incredibly competitive, and I think it's going to be very, very fun content to watch and strategy to see unfold. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and a comment down below. And as always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.